So welcome back to my channel. This is Dom and another one of my updates on the hobby, painting, collecting and gaming. Although not so much gaming this time. Anyway, let's have a look. So yeah, time for one of my regular updates. A bit earlier than I was planning to, mainly because I've got a heck of a lot painted because I have had COVID for the last nearly 2 weeks and therefore haven't really done anything, haven't gone anywhere, haven't been able to do any gaming, but have spent an awful lot of time watching the Olympics and painting. So quite a lot of production, so worth showing what I've done so far. So anyway, without further ado, let's have a look. So first up, you may well have seen these already if you've followed the channel and are interested in the epic Hannibal sets. These are Gallic warriors for the Carthaginian forces. It makes up a warband. I painted these up, did a little quick video the other day, just sort of walking people through how I did it, just to get, again, just the whole point of epic for me is to get them quickly and efficiently onto the table. They are all about the mass effect, and what they look like from 3 foot is more important than what they look at, well, this is less than a foot away. I still think they've come out all right. I won't go into a huge amount of detail because, as I say, if you're interested you can watch that video, but a little bit of base colouring, bit of wash and some use of pens to do designs on the shields and base them up, and jobs are good one. So there you go, a Celtic warband. So then from one Celtic warband to another Celtic warband. Now these are 15mm figures from Chrom Forge. Again, you've seen the video I did talking about how they compare with epic. They're a touch touch bigger, but again, from 3 foot away, I don't think it's going to make much difference. However, Chrom are now doing, or starting to do, 13.5mm 3D printed figures, so they will fit in, I think, very, very well indeed with the epic range, and kind of that's what they're designed for. Now, I really like these Chrom figures. For 15mm, they've got an awful lot of detail, sort of detail that 25 or 28mm figures would probably benefit with, to be fair. However, that said, you do have to paint them more individually as opposed to the epics, which are sort of just a mass effect look. But I think for a bit of variety, which is why I bought them, to mix in with the epics, I think works well. So really nice figures. There are a couple of, this chap here at the back is an irregular miniature. Again, I thought they'd be more true 15mm, but they're a smidge bigger than the old school 15mm, but maybe not as big as the new school 15mm, if you know what I mean. But I've put a couple of those in just to add a bit of variety, and because I'd bought them to see how they fitted. Again, probably too big for the epic range, but not so bad when up against the rest of the Chromaties. So yeah, some more Gallics. Actually, while I'm here, let's compare. So there you go. On the end of the line is some of the epic figures here, and there's the rest of the Chromaties. So you can see they are bigger. But, you know, as I say, from the tabletop, I don't think you'll tell the difference, to be fair. Also, obviously, the epics come in much more regular lines, and the Chromaties and other 15mm you'll base up much in a much more loose formation, which is probably more in keeping with the Gallics anyway, but there you go. But you can see they are very different scale, but again, from 3 foot away, I don't think you're going to know the difference. And then next up, yet more 15mm ancients. So on the right, as they come round, these are Calasti, Spanish light infantry. There are 2 of the irregular miniatures. I rather stupidly put them together on the base, which is daft. Oh, actually, there's 3. There's a 3rd one here. Irregulars. The rest are Chromaty. 2 bases is going to be a light unit in epic, so there's a Spanish light infantry unit ready to go. Also, the other side is a command base, which are irregular miniatures. It is a Well, the standard bearer is a sort of a Carthaginian chap, and I think the officer is supposed to. I think he's a Carthaginian general as well. So I just put them on the base together because I thought it would work quite nicely. And I know from past experience with these Hail Caesar rules that you do need a few generals here and there. So I thought I'd get a head start going. Yeah, quite happy with them. I think again you just see how good those Chrom Forge 15 mils are. Really nice figures indeed, even on such small figures and on light infantry. And then next up, for a bit of variety, these are 28 mil Napoleonic, I think the Perry Russian infantry. I painted them as jagers. Jagers didn't have any standards apparently, but even though in marching pose, and ideally I would have liked them more in assault poses and sort of skirmish poses, but it was the box I had, so I went with it. And I realised I just didn't have many Jaegers in my Russian Napoleonic army, so I just painted these up quickly just to get them done. I'm quite pleased. They've come out all right. I mean, it's a bit heresy to say, but I'm not sure I like the Russian Perry plastic sets. I don't know, they're just a bit... The heads are weird. I think that's the thing. The heads are weird. Anyway, easy to paint. Just green jackets, dark grey trousers, which seems to be the way with the Jaegers, and black belts, as opposed to the white, which the musketeers tended to wear. So, Unit 24, ready for the table, ready to kick some French ass. Sorry, and while we're on the Napoleonic turntable, let's get the 15 mils out. So this is a unit of well, probably I've filled them probably as 2 units, but it's French infantry, Napoleonic 15 mils. I've painted them as voltigeurs, so I can use them as light infantry in my armies. Much as I bemoan the French army and take the pee out of the French, I actually quite like them in the Napoleonic period. I think they suit my play style quite a lot, and as a result I seem to play them a lot when we're playing 15 mil. Don't know why. So I've just been slowly adding to my forces just to build them up a bit more, because when I used to play 15 mil back in the day, my mate Nick, he had all the French 15 mils, and so I didn't have very many at all. Now I play a lot more obviously at Farnborough now, and I seem to be the one that plays the French the most often, so I've been slowly adding to my forces, and I deliberately bought these some time ago because they had great coats, and as we all know, painting Napoleonics with great coats makes life so much easier. So yeah, they're actually very detailed. I've forgotten entirely who the manufacturer is. Someone did tell me on when I put these up on the Monday Night Plastic Crack podcast and showed them off, but I've forgotten already because I'm stupid. But they're very nice, actually surprisingly good detail. If anybody remembers who makes them, stick them in the comments. Thank you very much. And then we're back to Celtic figures, this time 28 mils. So this is a unit of Celtic Victrix plastic figures. If you remember, if you follow the channel, some months ago I showed off a big box of Victrix figures that I bought during one of their many sales of Celtic figures, and I think these are the last of the unarmoured figures that I bought there. So they bulked out my Celtic figures quite considerably in readiness for CrackCon. Yeah, not much to say. I mean, they're nice figures. They go together really simply, which is a major consideration for a ham-fisted modeler like me, and they're dead simple to paint up. Also, in honour of Steve, my mate from Plastic Crack, I put in a tactical severed head in the front rank there. He bemoaned the fact I showed off a unit a while back and I had no severed head on the front rank, which seems to be mandatory in the Celtic forces. So there you go, Steve. A severed head just for you, mate. Anyway, use the little big man shield transfers, and they're fiddly buggers to get on, but once they're on, they're okay. And if you can touch them up a bit, I mean, I'm sure there's people out there who do them really nicely. In my usual cack-handedness, I struggle to to get them to work perfectly well, and invariably have lots of spare real estate around them, even though they're perfect. These are the ones for Victrix shields. So I end up having to sort of touch them up quite a bit, but in some ways that works, because it sort of has that sort of worn and battle-torn look at the end of it. At least that's what I'm claiming. So there you go, more Celts. Yet another unit of Celts. So this time it's a unit of naked fanatics. Basically the story with these is I on my recent last Christmas list, I put some of these naked fanatics on my list from Crusader miniatures via way of North Star, and my youngest daughter bought me 2 packs of them for Christmas, which was very nice of her. But that didn't give me enough for the unit, so I bought some Warlord naked fanatics and mixed them in and created a slightly too big a unit, but I actually quite like the way they've gone together. So they're all metal, Crusader and Warlord, and yeah, just great fun to do, really easy to do because it's just predominantly skin tone. I used a blue ink pen or paint pen to do the sort of the woad marks on their bodies. Now, you know, there's a lot of arguments whether these boys ever really existed or not, but they're a lot of fun in the army, so yeah, they're gonna exist. Lots of gold torques, lots of gold armbands and so forth. Also a couple of tactical severed heads, so that keeps Steve happy. So there you go, yet more Celts for the Celtic army. I need to get back and do some more cavalry. As I mentioned once before, I just don't have enough light cavalry, so that'll be something I need to set my mind to and get on and do some next, because I think I've got more than enough infantry. But there you go, more figures painted. Now finally, this is my first Union regiment for my long planned for American Civil War 28mm project. So I've mentioned several times in the past on these updates that I've been collecting American Civil War figures when I see them cheap and what have you, and that seems to have gone into overdrive more recently. And I thought, I'm just going to paint up my first regiment, so that's what I've done. I put them on as wide a base as I can here to show them off in the full effect, because I tried to make them fairly dynamic in terms of the posing for them. So they're predominantly periplastics, but I've mixed in a couple of 4 casualty figures from First Corps in there as well, just because I wanted to have a bit of, dynamism in it. So you've got the 2 guys on the end here who've taken some grape shot or something. There's a couple of others, one on the ground, one not looking too happy with life in there, which, you know, I just thought it's a bit of laugh, bit of fun to put in there. Not laugh for them, obviously, but just adds to the dynamism. Quite pleased with how they came out. It was kind of my first trial at doing them, and I think they're going to be dead easy to paint. I've painted 15mm and a sprue or 2 of Epic in American Civil War, but never 28mm. And they're a bit like Second World War in many ways for sort of ease of paint. You don't have to get too intricate with them, which is kind of fun. So yeah, pleased to get the first battalion done, and I think I'll just probably work through various ones as I go, really. I've just ordered some flags from GMB, and yeah, we'll get going with it. These are the flags that came in the Perry box set, which are okay, but they're a bit cardy, so we'll see with some of the other ones. I might yet replace them. But there you go, the first Union regiment completed. I'm quite happy with how it came out. So yeah, as I said, quite a lot of painting has been done in the last week or so, 2 weeks, just because there's been nothing much else to do. So I've been sitting and watching the Olympics and painting all the time, and we haven't been anywhere because both my wife and I have had COVID, and my daughter had COVID too, so we just haven't really wanted to spread it. I know these days it doesn't matter if you go anywhere, but I just feel if you don't need to go anywhere, don't go anywhere, because you don't know who you're spreading it to. They may have people who are you know, suffering or elderly or some sort of health issue where getting a dose of COVID is not going to be good for them. So good news is I'm definitely on the mend. I'm still not quite right, and I don't know what it is. I've got this very heady cold, and feels like a cold more than anything else. So anyway, enough of my woes. So as a result, there's been no gaming at all. Haven't done a thing. Haven't even really fancied getting the figures out to play on my own. So I must be feeling quite poorly, which is, yeah, it's just one of those things. Sometimes you just have to kick back and try and relax. However, I have been sort of working through the different epic selections I've got, planning out my armies, working out what I'm going to do, which is good. Purchasing wise, well, you saw all the Chrom Forge stuff, and probably saw all the Hell Caesar Punic Wars stuff that turned up. Did I show that on this? I can't remember whether I showed this on my updates. I've certainly done a separate video. So I had the big Hannibal box arrive, which has basically the two armies on it, so Carthaginian and Roman armies in it. Did an unboxing of that. I think it's tremendous value, really excited about that. I also picked up, this is the Allied Troop box set. So this is the smaller one, comes in about £25, £30 if you buy it from Warlords. I bought it from Ian at Boards and Swords. Again, it just adds a few extra units in there, which I fancied very much. As I've said before, my epic journey is supposed to be, I'm doing obviously the two combatants, but also I was kind of hankering after doing an allied army as well. So that's why I picked up that box, and I really like the look of the Italians, Italian allies in there. They're, if you look at the figures, they've got all the bunny ears, the big feathers coming out of their helmets, which is kind of cool. Other purchases, I picked up on eBay. Some guy was selling off a whole load of Foundry figures, and I do have a soft spot for Foundry figures, and when they're cheap you can't say no, can you? So, well, excuse the bendy musket, but these are Russian infantry. I'm going to do them up as another unit of voltigeurs. I'm going to do them up as another unit of jagers, because, as I said on the turntable video, I haven't got anywhere near enough jagers in my Russian army. So I think there's 28, 40 here, something like that. 28 figures, I think it is. Yeah, it was 28 figures, and they came in at around about 40 quid, which is a little steep, but it's a lot cheaper than the newer prices. So yeah, so pick them up. I've got some leftover plastic ones, so I can mix them in to make sure I've got enough for a unit. And that'll be another Jaeger battalion done. Other than that, no gaming for me this week, even if I didn't have COVID. Imogen's got an operation on Friday, so assuming we're okay, we'll take her to the hospital for that. It's nothing serious, but it is a general anaesthetic, so she'll need somebody to bring her home and what have you. So I'm not sure what time that'll be or how she'll feel afterwards, so I don't think I'll go to the club. If I do, I'll just pop along to say hi to a few people, but probably won't game. But that'll be subject to COVID checks before we go. But the week after, hopefully, I'm going to have the game that I was supposed to have with Gamer Graham, to play some Black Powder, because he's itching to have a go at it, and I'm quite happy to oblige. I do like my Black Powder. He wants to play Napoleonic, so I'm very happy to do that. So I think the aim is the week after, so not this Friday, the one after, to play some Black Powder Napoleonics. So he'll probably do it here in the boot room, because I think the club is in a weird phase through August. A lot of the weekends, a lot of the weeks, we're up in the smaller room upstairs, which is a bit tight for space, and also can get very noisy. So probably going to do that in the boot room, so we'll see. Anyway, that's all I got for you. Lots of painting, not much else. Hope everyone's staying well. Hope you're relaxing, having a good summer. And I hope you're avoiding the COVID that I've managed to. I can't complain. For however many years I managed to avoid the COVID. I don't, well, at least as far as I was aware, I had done, apart from very, very early in when it first hit. I'm pretty sure I had COVID, but there were no tests back then. So I think I've been fairly fortunate just to survive all this time without having really obvious COVID symptoms and infections, so I can't complain. And as I say, it's not really curtailing an awful lot other than the fact I don't want to go anywhere in case I spread it. But I hope everyone else is staying well, and enjoy your gaming, and I will see you again soon. Thanks for watching, thanks to all the subscribers, of course, and thanks to my special supporters. Really appreciate everybody who does that. Just makes me want to do more of these things. So see you soon, and keep up with your gaming.